Good afternoon, gentlemen, and ladies and gentlemen, sorry. My topic is to optimize the topside facility through engineering so that we can reduce our capex and the weight. The word optimization is finding an alternative with the most cost-effective or highest achievable performance under the given constraints by maximizing desired factors and minimizing the undesired ones. Means we are selecting between must to have and good to have. And this way will optimize what is required, what can be deferred. So this way we optimize our selection of processes, equipments, and so the cost and the weight automatically. When material reduces, weight also will reduce. Optimization we can do by three ways: by changing the technology, or selecting the different process options, by changing the philosophy, or by changing the procedures. So by these three ways, we can optimize our engineering or design, selection of equipment. And let's see that what engineering does basically, why we are interested in engineering optimization. Engineering does impact directly the quality of fabrication, fabrication schedule, and the fabrication cost. If our engineering is not solid, we get impact on all the three areas. And sometimes we optimize by doing the right engineering, by optimize one part, we get benefit in fabrication, sometimes we get in fabrication and quality, sometimes we get in cost, or in all three also. But before going for FPSO optimization, we must keep this thing in mind that our FPSO is going to operate for 20 to 30 years. Number two, it has to fulfill its desired function, what it is designed. And third is, FPSO is working on a harsh environment in the sea and which is unsafe at the same time. So doing optimization of any facility or any discipline or any area, we must keep these things in mind. Before we go for the optimization of facilities, let's understand which are the area we are contributing or which are the area we should optimize. So let's see this. These are the facilities, in fact, contributing in weight. Piping, 23%, mechanical, 28%, structural, 42%, electrical, 3%, and instrumentation, 4%. This is a typical value, may vary, depends on the case to case, but this is the typical values. Now we see that major contributors are basically is a structure, piping, and mechanical equipment. Electrical and instrumentation optimization may impact very small amount. So today I'm covering only first three. Electrical and instrumentation, I think because of the timing, I will not be covering the instrumentation. Electrical seems to be the contributors are very low value. So let's go to the first in engineering. Is the process plays a vital role, because we start our job with the process engineering. And process engineering is the first stage where major optimization is required, or major optimization should be considered, and right kind of selection should be made at that particular moment during feed or basic engineering. And later on during detail engineering, we'll keep on doing it, our optimization, but this is the basic step. And in this, the selection of process scheme is very important because that is the core scheme for any operating unit. And optimization of any process schemes, how is going to help us? I'll give two very simple examples, and that will give us an idea how we are doing the optimization in the process schemes and how it can going to affect us, our weight and cost. If you see this is the water processing scheme for water injection on FPSO. We are taking seawater from sea through this lift pump and passing through the various filtration process, and we are doing the deaeration. Sorry. Passing through the filtration, doing deaeration is a booster pump, SRU unit, sulfate removal, and the water injection pumps finally going for injection. This is a very simple flow scheme. If you see in this, sorry. Here is the rejection. And then we are going for water injection. It means our deaeration tower and the pump has to be of the higher capacity, and we are removing air from here. At the same time, seawater is injected with chlorine. That also gets removed, and which enhance the operation of SRU unit and the life of the SRU unit. But if we do deaeration later and SRU early, our rejection is there still, but deaeration capacity reduces. So this is a balance between the location of SRU unit and the size capacity of the deaeration tower. So here the optimization starts playing a role. Once we are having SRU unit the downstream, there is a problem of startup in the pump because there is no hold-up volume in SRU unit. So we found that there is an operability problem sometime here. But if deaeration is here, the operability problem of the pump is lesser. So this kind of optimization is largely depends on how we are operating, what quality of operators we have, how optimization is required to be done. So this is a very good example of selection of the process scheme. One more example I'll give is again a simple flow diagram. LP gas pressurized to MP gas, passing through the dehydration unit, going to HP compressor, and going to gas injection compressor, and for the gas injection. Now, dehydration unit is upstream of HP compressor, is sized for the bigger volume and the lower pressure rating. But if it is keeping after HP, is sized for the lesser volume but high pressure rating. But at the same time, we know that there's a critical pressure for the gas. We know the behavior of the gas when it is below 60 to 70 bar. So the glycol loss can be minimized in the first scheme. But if gas components are such that glycol loss is minimum, we can take a risk of going downstream. So this is again operability or the gas composition criteria. So these are flow schemes we are deciding at the time of when doing the basic engineering. So process schemes is very important to have optimization during basic engineering. Another is capacity selection. Capacity selection means the availability of the equipment. We can have, like example, we can have 2 pumps, 50% capacity, making 100% availability. We can have 200% capacity, 1 working, 1 standby, 100% availability. Or we can have 3 pumps of 50% capacity, 2 running, 1 standby, so 100% availability based on the RAM study. Now, the option comes, which option is to be selected? Here, oil companies who are in the operator of the field, I think their role comes very vital, what they are looking. If oil companies are looking for the operators on a subcontract basis or contract basis, then criteria is all the equipment 365 days should be available whether they are standby or not. Then our basis will be different because their time penalty plays a vital role. So the contracts, how the contract is made with the operating company, that plays a vital role for the availability of the equipment. And here, I consider is a major role is played by the oil companies. What kind of mind they have. Like suppose 2 pumps are there, 1 working, 1 standby, 50%. And they accept that this pump will be down for certain period in a year. But oil is not going to hamper. Oil will be there, but we can take that kind of steps. So straightway we can save our area, our weight, and the cost of the equipment. But it purely depends on the philosophy of the oil companies who are operating or who are subcontracting as per the contractual situation. So here, RAM is clear for all the 3 cases, 100% availability. But the operating conditions for the operators or for the oil company will play a vital role here. Third is selection of equipment. Nowadays, we are having various innovations, various vendors are coming, and we are in touch. So selection of equipment is also, it comes at the feed place, like nowadays dual frequency electrostatic treater, multi-phase flow meter in place of a test separator, or multi-port valve in place of manifold, or use of PCHE or PSHE in place of shell and tube heat exchangers. So these are the such equipment we are giving us advantage in weight. Looking to the, of course, cost may be higher, but we have to weigh at the time. See, this is here optimization comes. What we are looking, what is required, and how long we are going to operate the field, and what benefit we are going to get in the long run. So such kind of things we can do during our finalizing the process schemes or doing the feed or the basic engineering. Another area is piping, which is contributing 23% of the weight of the FPSO. Equipment layout plays a vital role for the optimization. If our modules are placed in such a way, it follows the process schemes, then piping length will be shortened. If piping is going across the starboard to port side, forward to aft side, then definitely our length will increase. So location of module is very important. How we are placing our module based on the process schemes. For example, if we are gas injection compressor or water injection pump is located to the turret, near to the turret, so highest pressure piping is shortest in the length and can be optimized instead of placing this water injection pump or gas injection compressor further from the turret or from the riser where injection is being done. So such kind of location of modules can be optimized and we can reduce the length of piping, and this reduction of piping definitely is going to give us a benefit of reduction in weight and cost. So layout plays a very vital role in our reduction of the piping weight. So this is very important. So layout must be given a due importance for the correct piping, for the minimized piping length and the routing to avoid to and fro going from various modules or starboard to. Okay. Second, selection of valve. This item may not contribute much, but still we can have optimization, like safety valve. Just after the safety valve, we have isolation valves with expander. If this valve is installed after the expander, then the size of the valve will increase. But if can be installed with the PSV nozzle, the size of the valve will be reduced. So this way, we can optimize the weight and the cost because the size reduced. So ultimately, will have a lesser weight and the lesser cost. Another example of using of check valves, wafer type versus swing type. That also, the dimensions are different, weight is different. So we can reduce the cost in case the swing is not required. Use of D-rated piping class. This is a very project specific if high pressure rating piping is available. So we can go for actual pipe conditions and we can calculate the thickness instead of going the standard rated conditions. So this is done basically beyond class 2,500 pound. Lesser is not possible, but this is one of the option if our project having this kind of piping, which normally FPSOs are having, so we can get some advantage by using this method. Use of hubs instead of flanges or compact flanges. There is a state advantage on reduction of weight and space. So for the higher pressure rating, hubs can be used. We are using more than 6-inch size and more than 2,500 class piping. We are using mainly hubs. We are not using flanges as such. Stress analysis. This is another area which should be given a due importance. If stress analysis is done properly, we can avoid looping of the piping and we can avoid our elbows. And reduction of elbows will give us advantage in the weight and cost. So stress analysis is very important if it is done properly, and analysis is done properly, it will reduce the cost of the length of the piping, then cost of the piping and the weight of the piping. Mechanical equipment. They are contributing 28%. Major optimization is done during feed only because selection of the equipment normally be decided at that time. But still, there are areas which can be optimized subsequently when the engineering progresses. First is material handling scheme. Operators are day by day very vigilant about the maintenance requirement. And once we can have a common maintenance facility for the equipment, that gives us state advantage of the reduction in weight and the material and the cost. For example, there are 2 GTG trains. If they are getting open, one on the left side, one on the right side, then one common monorail can be installed between the two and we can save one monorail. Thus, material is saved, weight is saved, cost is saved. Instead of having 2 separately, one facing the standard mirror image, then it will be different. So material handling can be optimized. Handling various equipment with a one monorail can be done. Package philosophy is very important. If we can club the various packages, normally like for example, air dryer and air compressor, if put on one package, save the weight, size, cost, piping, everything is reduced. And we are doing that. And there's a state advantages coming if packages are clubbed together. Another is standardization of equipment. This activity may not give a weight advantage, but it gives the advantage of schedule and the cost. If we standardize our equipment, engineering will be standardized, vendor can be standardized, fabrication can be standardized, no specialty item in that, so it will save our cost in engineering and the fabrication. High pressure vessel design optimization. Normally we are designing our vessel as per ASME Section 8 Division 1, but if we design as per Division 2, we'll get the advantage. This is again this advantage we get to the higher pressure rating, and this is a straight advantage of the weight because of the reduction in the safety factor. In a vessels, elliptical heads versus hemispherical heads, straight give the saving of the weight, provided if you have a space available, because hemispherical take a longer space, elliptical takes a smaller space. If the space is a problem, we cannot go for this, otherwise there is advantage. Structure. This takes a weight point of view, is a major portion, 42%, but it has to be done very judicially. If we are too conservative from the beginning, we'll end up in a problem because there will not be any storage capacity available. So, first of all, doing the structural design, we must know all the loading condition of the structure, like dry weight, operating weight, the transportation, lifting. All this loading we must know, and which is the governing one, which is the worst case, because that will govern. So once the realistic loading is done and all the cases covered, then structure can be designed considering these two factors. And second point is the optimization of design of modules. This is again very important because this is with the first. Different members are loaded in a different conditions. Certain members are loaded for the transportation, certain members are loaded for the lifting, certain members for the operating. So which is the governing case and which members can be optimized? If the lifting is a governing case, then transportation members can be optimized. So this is a very tricky affair of analysis of structure analysis. Then which members can be optimized, which cannot be. But this is very clear that it can be done considering proper loading condition. Judicially eliminate safety factor of factored load. This is a very important point. Engineers has a tendency to take safety margin. Like codes have taken safety margin, calculations taken safety margin, over and above vendor has taken safety margin, but our engineers still go for like 5% more. And that added value at each stage is made things different. Structure I consider is just like three people, one thin, one fat, and one normal. All three can lift 50 kg, but thinner will lift for a shorter duration, fail soon. Thicker will again not, because a hefty fat not required. He may continue, but not required for structure is like that. And the normal, so structure optimization has to be done looking to these conditions of our loading condition, which is very important. And at the end, optimization of design may reduce weight, reduce capex, reduce schedule. But the life cycle of operational issues, as we design the facility for 20 years, is a real challenge considering this of 20 years life and the, as I said, the client's requirement day by day or operability requirement day by day is increasing. So it's a real challenge to achieve goal of reduction of project cost through optimization. Thank you very much.